What's up, everyone? I'm Ellis Williams, and this is On the Record. Here, we go beyond the surface and get into the song, the sound, the story, and the spark that brought it to life. In this episode, we're discussing Something Real by Laghima. Hopefully, I said that right this time. A
Laghima.
deep house producer, a deep house producer and songwriter out of Los Angeles who knows how to blend introspective lyrics with grooves that make you move. With his background in engineering and a dedication to mastering the craft, Laghima brings both emotion and precision to everything he creates. Today, we're going to break down the feeling, the process, and the meaning behind Laghima's Something Real. So, let's press play on this conversation. My guy, I'm happy to have you here. Man, I've been listening to Something Real this morning and just kind of like just to get me up and get me going in the gym. But it's a lot more than that, you know. But before we get into that, I have to ask you like an icebreaker to the icebreaker. So I was doing some research on you, my guy, or really your name, and I have to ask: is it an avatar thing, or is there a deeper meaning?
I get that every time.
I know you do.
So I've been using that name way before Core ever aired, but yes,
Right?
there's a deeper meaning. It's not from Sahir from Avatar like everyone thinks it
Yeah.
is.
Shoot, I'm like, he might be sending a cease and desist in a minute.
That's okay.
Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. I like that it everything with you is has deep meaning, you know, and that's really great for artists to have because one thing we're missing out is the authenticity, you know, just that genuine factor when we have like superstars and artists and like how they have, you know, their own world built around them. And a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, let me just, you know, repeat
Thanks.
everything that just to make the money and to sell records. But it's like you put some thought into it. So I dig that. I dig that. So let's go into this icebreaker. You do not know what this icebreaker is, but I think you're gonna have fun answering this one. All right. So here we go. So you're DJing a huge New Year's Eve party. The dance floor is packed and people are ready to go. What song do you play first?
I think the first thing I always play is probably like you just got me. I think it's called "Get Me Started" by no, it's Get It Started" by Troye Sivan. It's a little old song now. I think it's probably like
Mm,
2 years old, but it's kind of one of those songs where like it's a groovy song,
okay.
but it's not like EDM style song. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like one of those
okay,
things where your
okay.
parties, you kind of want if you just play EDM or dubstep, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, you got the
Oh,
crowd
you
going. Like
really,
I want
really.
everybody to be in on it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, really, you don't have to worry about anybody even recognizing the song. Once they hear it, once they feel that, just that
Yeah.
beat going, it's over. Yeah, no, for me, I don't judge me. I'm just going for what I know it's gonna work. Back that thing up.
Yeah, you playing hook classics.
Oh, wait, come on now. Like, let me just take it easy. I'm gonna have an easy night, make this money, because I got to
So I'm
figure out
trying
how
to
I'm
get
gonna get
my
home.
300 and go home. Like,
Well, hey, look, if it's a New Year's Eve party, I hope it's more than $300. But all right,
I
man.
got anything in my henny, I'm good to go.
So, what inspired the concept behind Something's Real?
So actually, when I originally, so the version that's out now is the second version I wrote, third version I wrote actually, I believe.
Oh,
I have to check the project file. That song was a long time coming, but basically, the original version is actually like more of like a poppy style of song. It was like at the time slap house was really a big thing, so I
hmm,
wanted to make like a slap house song. And it was much more pop friendly. But then I ended up switching it up to kind of the version you hear now, which is much more like darker and cinematic and stuff.
yeah.
Much more heavy and kind of like all over the place. uh, but basically, like it actually, funny enough, it actually deals with my name, the
Aha.
whole Lahima bit. So Lahima comes from if you there's a book called the Yoga Sutras, which is what like a lot of Hinduism and Buddhism stuff is based out of.
Okay.
TLDR. Um, there's something in there called samadhi, which is like a mystical siddhi. A lot of my whole brand shit has to deal with like mysticism, like
Wow.
not in some like oh my god buy my jewelry, but in like just like it's just kind of my culture. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So, So samadhi basically just means like to be like a. It's basically like when people say the word enlightenment, what they really are trying to express is samadhi. It's just one to one word.
Okay.
So a lot of the song kind of came from that concept of like samadhi and just like in yoga sutras they deal a lot with like they basically say like if you've never been enlightened, which 90% of 99% of people in the world haven't,
Hmm.
then there's the closest you can get to it is like going to sleep. It's the same thing. That's why people always talk about like when they go to sleep they're so peaceful. So that's kind of like where the initial concept of the song came from, which I got past the
Okay.
I want to write a pop slap all song.
Is that kind of like your, I guess, the background or the backstory to most of your songs? Do they kind of have like a recurring theme with that, or is just like this is just something that was just like, let's try this?
Yeah, I would say when I'm not writing for other people and I'm writing for myself, most songs are much more introspective than they are presented as. Some songs are
Mm.
like very introspective. I would say something real like once you kind of get past like it's just like a crazy drop song. It's a
Uh-huh.
pretty introspective song because
Wow,
the
man.
whole concept of the song is just like I'm trying to get to sleep to just like not like kind of like be basically be numb. Like I want to go to sleep to not feel stuff. That's why in the chorus it says like
Mm.
don't rush me awake so I can feel
Yeah.
something real. That's kind of the point. Uh,
Okay. No, that's cool. For you deep house listeners out there, that should tell you don't just listen to the music, like really dig into the lyrics. Like there's deeper meanings than just just the drops and the drums and the kicks. Like there's a little bit more than that. And I didn't know until I really like looked up the lyrics and was just like, this is deep. This is deep. So that's really dope. So like when you're writing your song, do you usually start with the lyrics or do you start with a production?
it's usually the production, especially now. Like definitely it's the production because
Hmm.
I'm kind of like a producer first, songwriter second. But they as time gone on, they've gotten a little more even
Hmm.
in terms of like my skill level. But yeah, I basically like never start with the lyrics.
Yeah.
I really like I'll do like kind of the chords and stuff, and
Hmm.
then from there understand kind of somewhat the vibe I'm going for. A lot of times when I write stuff, I don't. It's not like this super planned out process. Like when I write for other people, definitely it's much more planned out. It's much more like I'm looking at
Yep.
every line of lyrics and going through. But for me, it's like I'll come up with some production thing, and then I'll be like, oh, that's a cool, interesting idea, and like what I want this to, what am I feeling, what I want it to express the feeling to feel like for
Hmm.
something real. I definitely want to have this very
Oh,
like
that's
big sounding, but like I don't know how to express it, like big but quiet. Like I wanted to be very cinematic, but I'm not like shouting in your ear. It's just
yeah.
like a big whisper, like because the whole concept is like being asleep and not having the energy or the resolve, and then you kind of like gave up.
Yeah.
So that's why, yeah. So some of the rules case, yeah, I completely started with the production. I don't think I wrote a single bar, and then I actually, funny enough, I finished pretty much the whole song before I actually wrote any lyrics or melody for the vocals. And then I went
That's
back in and
cool.
had to retroactively fit it in, which I no longer do that because it's so chaotic of a process. So now
Yeah.
I do the melody more so first.
Wow. No, that's really cool. Like I don't meet a lot of people who start with lyric, but I guess that's the difference between, being like an actual producer and then being a straight on like poet, because
Yeah.
they're just writing lyrics and they're just thinking about the story. But in your case, you're still thinking about the story, but you're thinking about the story more through like a soundscape. So and
Yeah.
then for the lyric just to come on top is like, I don't know about you, but I'm similar. I'll come up with the sonic landscape and how I want it to sound and the structure and all that, and then it's like, so what should I talk about? After they're like, wow, this is a great song. What the hell should I talk about? Now I'm like,
Where am I going with
might as well
this?
just, like, shoot. That's what happens when you're an instrumentalist.
Yeah, because so
Yeah.
many times it's not like I don't know, it's just like when it's like you write the thing and then you're kind of, as you're going through the process, you're figuring out what the fuck you're trying to say. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how I feel about it a lot of times. It's like I'm writing this
Yeah.
stuff, like, and I'm like, okay, like, where am I trying to get at? And a lot of times it's like me throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and then kind of sculpting it down until the final form. A lot of times, that's actually pretty much every time.
True.
It's like very chaotic. I'm just like, oh, that sounds cool, that sounds cool, that sounds cool, and I'm like, okay, what am I trying to get at here? Okay, this is the through line. Let me start sculpting it down to get it to fit
Hmm.
into that through line.
Yeah. No, man, it's like carving a masterpiece. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
gotta like throw it all out there, make that big thing, and then it's like, all right, well, let me go ahead and sculpt it down into what it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, that's cool. So if something real were to be featured in a film, what type of story or a moment would it be best to compliment?
So I think two ones I kind of had in mind when making it was like a fight scene in a movie, like just like from an strictly instrumental standpoint, like it's
Hmm.
got the huge cinematic dance groove thing. So like a fight scene with like I can already imagine like some Asian guy in a club and he's like a secret agent or a spy or something, and he drops
Hmm.
down and there's like tons of people and he's like fighting
Yep.
for them, that sort of
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
And the second one is like or like a space scene or something like I don't know, like an Odyssey or something. Like the person is going to a foreign planet. His wife just passed away, and he's like trying to make it back to Earth. And he's like, his warp drive and on his ship or something is messing up, and he's trying to fix it in time before the bad guys come. And he's just like, all this stuff is colliding at the same time, and he's like trying to get back. So it's kind of
Wow.
another one I had in
Wow.
mind.
Wow, like attention filmmakers, we are literally giving you the movie right here. You have the song to start. Just go ahead and license it and just build your thing around it. No, that's really dope. I definitely saw this song being used like in a club scene, but something more so where somebody's trying to find someone. And
Yeah.
then of course the lyrics of something real and the awakening and all of that is kind of like almost like a dream state. You're just walking through that crowd of just everybody
Yeah.
just dancing around you, and it's busy and it's chaotic, but you see the other person somehow on the other end, and you're just like kind of finding each other. But it's a cooler concept by you find each other and now you start fighting into an action scene. That makes it interesting.
Yeah, almost reminds me of that song by like Alicia Cara. This song is old as hell, called "Here," and it probably was popular
Hmm.
like 2017. But like,
Oh
it's
man,
kind
I
of the
got to
same
check
thing.
that
Like,
out.
she's in a room full of people, but she's like alone, sort of thing. Like, it's kind of a
Yep.
very similar vibe. It's
Yep.
like you got all the
Yep.
stuff you could do, but you're alone in your room sleeps.
Wow.
You're not trying to wake up.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier how you would throw everything into just like, you just put all your ideas out there and you kind of like strip stuff away until you settle on something. How do you decide when like a track is actually done?
So when I first started writing music, which I would say "Something Real" is actually the second track I've written. Like I've obviously wrote tracks before, but like the first like full finished thing I've written. So I've kind of have a process now versus when I was writing "Something Real," I didn't really have a process. But a lot of times, for me what it boils down to is like the feeling that I'm trying to present and making sure that I've thoroughly explored it. Um, so like "Something Real," I remember a big issue I was having when writing the song was actually verse number two. I couldn't really figure out what to do or how to get back to the drop because I kind of built the intro, built verse one, built the build, and built the drop. And I was like, how do I get back to the drop? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So a big component of that song was trying to figure out like how do I further explore the idea. And so that's like a big portion of it. I feel like a lot of times is like okay, you said like the first bit of the idea, which is like I don't want to be awake. I want to be asleep. Um, and now I'm asleep. Okay, what else? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So a lot of times, that's a big component of it. Is like, what's the full idea? That's why a lot of times when I'm doing songs now, and even in the case of "Something Real," I had like a through line, which is like just a one sentence idea of like what the whole song is about, and then that way I can kind of bust the sections down into getting through that through line. And the second thing is this one is just more a production and songwriting thing. It's just having a reference track. It's just having a track I'm composing
Of course.
to. So for this track, there's a song by this artist named Sam Smyers called "Higher."
Mhm.
So I kind of borrowed a lot of the structural ideas from that song. Obviously, I expanded upon it. You know what I mean? His version doesn't have any verses or anything. Like mine's
Yeah.
more like singer songwriter oriented, and his more like for a DJ kind of club set sort of thing. So I expanded upon that. I think there was like one more track I used by this artist called Soma, I believe is her name, called "Rush," like another deep house track. But I kind of use that as a frame of reference
Wow.
also. But
Okay, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up with this last question, and you talk about how you want to make sure that you got all the ideas and everything you're trying to say with this track out there once it's finished. But if you ever like have those moments when there's opportunity where you can kind of expand upon those ideas after the song is already done, like what's next? Like, what's next after? Like, what's next for you musically or conceptually after something real? Like, do you think about maybe I want to revisit this idea in like a sequel song, if that's even a thing?
Hmm. Yeah, so actually, I feel like something real was kind of like I don't know how to put it, like the first part of a deeper idea that I was really trying to get at. When I wrote that song, I didn't really know that much about like music theory, and I was just kind of getting my foothold on songwriting. So since then, it's been about like maybe a year and a half to 2 years, and I've done a lot more study and stuff and got a lot better. So now I've like more so fully fleshed out the idea I was trying to get at with something real, because a big component of something real that obviously it's not on the track because I didn't write it is like it wasn't like how to express it without sounding crazy. It wasn't like sinister enough. It wasn't like malicious enough. And so a lot of the new stuff I'm writing is like very like I don't know if you've ever seen like the movie like The Conjuring or any of those sort of scary movies. Like
Hmm.
there's another movie I have in mind too. It's that old vampire movie they just dropped. Um,
Oh man.
God, it's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, I
It's
can't think
so
of any
funny.
old French like vampire franchises.
Nosferatu. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
those sort of movies where it's like this like old ancient evil thing that's like it's not like a scary movie or something where it's like in your face and spooking you out.
Hmm.
It's more like simmering in the background and just like quietly creeping up over time. A lot of that's what I was trying to get at with really with something real, which is like this feeling of like wanting to stay asleep, but like it's not a good feeling, and I couldn't really express the not good part. I can only really give you like the pretty part of it. So a lot of stuff I've been working on recently, like a good track for referring reference is Perdition. Perdition is a lot more darker and a lot more sinister, and when you listen to it, it does not necessarily feel good to listen to, which is kind of the point I'm trying to get at. Like a lot of music nowadays, not a lot of music in general since the beginning of time,
Hmm.
just focuses on like making things sound very beautiful. It's kind of like
Yeah.
101 of music. Like you get harmony, you teach jazz harmony. They're like, oh, you throw a ninth chord in, you throw a ninth in there, 11th or 13th because it's like so pretty. No one's ever like, yeah, throw a flat two in there. You know what I mean? Like just throw a
Yeah.
tritone in there. I know
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
major chord.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You know what I mean? Like no one does that. So that's kind of like what the new stuff I'm trying to get at is like emphasizing the the, the ugly portions of stuff.
Yeah.
So Perdition is like a perfect example. Like you listen to the song, and it sounds like it makes you like not feel good, which is the point. And that's what I was really trying
Mhm.
to get at with
Yeah.
with something real. It's like that whole horror movie idea of like The Conjuring or any of these movies where like they're summoning Cthulhu from the other regions, and like it's this whole process is scary, but it's not Cthulhu's not in your face. He's like simmering in the background. He's like gathering followers. He's doing the rituals. It's like very like me and my friend call like occult music. It's
Mm,
meant
okay.
to it's meant specifically for that sort of stuff. That's where I was trying to get at, and that's kind of like a lot of the new stuff I've been working on has been specifically focused on that, about like
Wow.
emphasizing like not only the negative parts of harmony that we don't use, which would be like tritones, flat twos, or minor seconds, all like the very negative relationships,
Mhm.
but also then implementing that in the music context, but also in a way that sounds good with vocals, which is difficult as you can imagine because no one's ever throwing tritones in their top lines.
Well, man, I love it. I love a good tritone in my music every once in a while. Just something a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah. I think
Well,
in Perdition, like even in the top line of the chorus, it's just playing blue notes the whole way through.
hey, well, look, thank you so much for your time today, Laghima. and man, I enjoy speaking with you every time. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe at Mirror House Music Group. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. This was On the Record.